import these props. So we'll say const, and then we'll pull out that from props. So we'll say this dot props. And what all do we need to import? We have loading, then we have show priv link, show next link, show priv link, show next link. I'll just copy it so that we don't end up making mistakes. Show next link. Then we have these event handler functions, so handle priv click and handle next click. Okay, and then since we have all of this, all I have to do is just pass all of these to these priv and next. So we want to pass show priv link first. Okay, right, so how do we use this? Basically what we want to do is we want to show this element if show priv link is true. So remember what we did for loading, we added the class of show and hide, and we already have show and hide classes available, so we can just reuse that. It's always good to do reusability. So I'm going to use backtick because I need to use these variables, and then I'll check if priv link is true, then you add the show class, otherwise add the hide class. Similarly for the next also, but this time we'll use show next link. What we also want to do, guys, is basically add another class which will gray out these links in case if the loading is true, because we want to give indication to the user that don't keep on pressing next when the previous request is already in process. So let the previous request get complete first before we make the new one. So we can do that by graying out these elements, these links, once the request is in process. Okay, one more thing over here, this will not be this dot props, it will be props because we already have props available here. You would use this dot props if you were dealing with a class. This is a functional based component, so we already have props available here. Okay, so how do we do that? What we can do is we can add another class. So I'm going to break this into multiple lines. Put it like this, and let's just copy this, paste it, and I'm going to check loading, if it's loading or not. If it's loading, then add a grayed out class. Okay, let's take this backtick, put it here. Okay, I'll say grayed out class, otherwise don't add any class. Okay, so if the loading is true, then add a grayed out class. We will write the CSS for that in a moment. So I'm going to put that information here as well. So again, I'll break that into multiple lines to make it more readable, and just paste it here like this, and get rid of this like that. Okay, great. So basically, if the loading is true, then put a grayed out class. So don't just give an indication to the user that it's not, it wouldn't do anything. And actually it wouldn't, because remember that in the function that we are calling over here, handle page click, we are checking if the state of loading is false or not. Only if it's false, then go ahead and send the request. It won't send any request anyways if the loading is true. Okay, great, awesome. Now we need to put this event handler. So we have event handlers available. So all I have to do is there's an event that's going to go on the first link, which is priv. So we'll say on click, and then just pass this function here, which we've received as props. And then we need to add the function on click, and then handle next click as well here. So what's going to happen is when the user clicks on the previous button, because this method is being passed as props to the child component from parent, in parent you can see that handle priv click is going to call handle page click, which is going to pass priv over here. So the type will be priv, which means it's going to add is going to set the updated page number value to the new value, which means if it was 2, it'll make it 1 by subtracting 1 to it, for example. Okay, and then it's going to send the fetch results. It's going to call the fetch results, which will take the updated page number. So basically it's going to fetch the result for page number 1 if he was on page number 2, and also pass the query and all of this information, which I've already explained. Same thing goes for the next also. If the next button is clicked, this on click event handler will call this method, which is being passed as props from parent. So this time it'll be handle next click, and next will be passed, which means it will change the page number by adding 1 to it. So if he was on page number 2 and he goes next, then it'll be 2 plus 1, which is third page number, and it's going to pass the third page number. And as you can see in the fetch results, it's taking the value of the page number. If it exists, then it's going to say and page is equal to 3, and that's what it's going to query for and give me the results. And then same thing goes on over here. If you notice how easy this has become for us is because we have divided the tasks and given it to multiple functions. So the job of fetch results is to fetch results, the job of get page count is to get page count, the job of handle page click is to handle the page click. So it becomes so easy for us. We didn't have to write all of this code over and over again. It is doing the job by just passing this information. When user types something, we have the page number 1 available, which fetches data for that. If it's handle page click calls the fetch result, we have a new page number, so it fetches a result for that. And even handle page click method takes care of 2 different events by just passing different types into it. So that is actually the reusability to write less code. Of course, this can be improvised even better, but I think for now, for basic understanding, this is good enough. Great, awesome. Now let's see if this is all is working fine. Let's have a look. Do we have any errors? We do. Let's see what we have. Cannot read property, prevent default of undefined. Let's see. Okay, we need to pass event also, guys, over here. So that's why it's throwing an error, because it needs an event to be passed. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, let's just check. So I think we need to pass an event when we are calling these methods down at the bottom. Okay, so let's see, how do we do that? So what we need to do, guys, we need to pass the event in this method. Now it's not going to accept the parameter like this. I mean, I can't pass event over here like this. It won't work. Okay, so if I do that, I will still get an error. Okay, so how do we do it? What we're going to do is we'll keep it the same, which means we pass the event like this, but we're going to return that as an anonymous function by using an arrow function, like so. And now this is going to work. So let's just do that for all of them. Okay, it goes for the same for this one as well. I'll pass an event. And this is pretty useful, you know, when you are actually working on projects, you run into problems like this. That's when you're able to solve the problem. Let's make it more readable, put some space, and that works. Great. Now let's check if it's working. Awesome, it works. Now let's see, we do have the next and previous shown. You can see that picture. You can see now it's working, right? Okay, great. Now of course we need to add some styles to these. Okay, so what we're gonna do is add some styles to the priv and the next button. So we have a container right here called nav link container. Let's add the style to this first. Next, so priv and next. Okay, this is the class. I'm gonna say margin 20 pixels, top and bottom, and left and right will be 0. It'll give it a display of flex. Justify content center to keep it in center. In fact, let's not keep it in center, let's keep it on flex end, which means on the right hand side of the screen. Okay, and then we have nav link available. We already dealt with show and hide on top, so we don't need to take care of that. That's already been taken care of. So we've got nav link, and let's give it a color of 555 and text decoration none. Then border 1 pixel solid 898989, and padding 10 pixels top and bottom and 20 pixels left and right. I'll give it a margin right of 10 pixels. Okay, and let's style a gray out as well, so that when the request is being served it should appear as grayed out. So we'll just have to give it a background that looks gray. So we can say F1 F1 F1, not Formula 1. Okay, opacity, make an opacity so that it looks grayed out. Okay, great. Let's see if that works. Say picture. Brilliant. You can now see you have got the next button available because there's nothing previous. The user is already on a page number 1. So if you have a look and check over here, and let's look for our component, which is search. You can see he's on page number 1. Loading is false because it's already loaded. Message is nothing. Query is picture. We've got 20 results. Total pages 257. That's calculated by our function. Total result is this. And now we have a next button. Click on next. Sure enough, you can see two things have changed. Load has become false. Current page is 2. That's why you have previous. Go back to the previous page. Current page is 1. Go back to the next. Current page is again 2. Again click page number 3. You've got the result for that. He can also scroll down and he can go click next over here. So you can see now it's page number 4, and this can go on and on and on. Because we've got 257 pages, of course I'm not gonna navigate through 257 pages on this video. That would be insane, but you got the idea, right? Let's do a recap. Brilliant. So in Pagination, or I think we should do a recap right from the start. It'll be really brilliant so that it gets all in your head. Awesome. So I'm going to give you visuals of that as well so that you understand what's going on. Okay, now there is one more problem. This previous and next should not be shown in case if the query is typed, it doesn't have anything. So that needs to go off, right? Yeah, that needs to go off. So what do we do for that? Where is it? Handle page click, right? So what we need to do is basically we need to set the total pages and total result to 0 also. You can see there is DD, but if you go back there is nothing in the query, but you still have total pages and total result being shown over here. And the reason for this is because we are not setting these values as null like we are doing for other things like result. The result is empty, right? Why? Because when he types something, we are saying that if there's no query, set the result to empty object, which it is. There's nothing inside of it. Set message to null, which it is, and set query to query. So anyways, query is nothing. But we are not setting these values. We are not nullifying these values. So we need to do that as well. So we'll just take this total pages and total results. So total pages, make it 0, and total results, make it 0. Okay. Now if we check, let's go to search, type something, hello, go back, go back. Awesome. Now you can see it's gone to 0. Awesome. Great, guys. So you can see this is how you run into problems when you're working on the live project, and you need to find out why and then fix it. The best tool I would say for React especially is the React Developer tool, because you can actually see what's happening and you can easily debug. Of course you can do console, but how many times will you do console? You know, you have to do console everywhere. Think about it, I had to do console at this point to understand what's going on. But since I have this state available, I can quickly go ahead and check and find out what's happening, and I can fix that problem. Awesome. Great. So let's do a recap what's happening. So we have an input. Let's make it small. We have an input. When the user types something, he typed like this. Handle on input change gets called. This goes ahead and check if he has typed something, if there's something in the query, which it is. Query is D now. Okay. Then go ahead and set the state of query loading to true. So loading was true just a while back. Now it's false. Message to null, and then call this fetch result with the page number 1. Fetch result will take page number 1 and the query. I'll put the page number as 1. This is the URL. Don't use my API, guys. Use yours. You can log into the pixabay.com and just create your account there. Okay. Then you put the query and the page number. You cancel any previous request if there was any. So we've initialized this dot cancel. We are canceling the request if there was any previous request, so that the request should not go every time the user types. Let him finish typing, and then we can get the result for the final one. Then we create a new token using Axios cancel token.source. We pass that cancel token as the second parameter. The first parameter will be search URL. Then when we get the response, we calculate the total, because we have the total available in the data and that we receive, which is total. Okay, and then we get the total page count using this function that we've created. We also create a result not found message. Okay. Then we set the state to all of these values, like results, message, total pages. Current pages would be 1 in this case. Okay, and then loading will be set to false, which is the case right now, and that's why you see loading false over here. If there was any errors, then this will be shown to false and message will be displayed. Then the next step is, once we've got the data, we need to go to the next page. So we have already created a component over here which handles the next and previous requests, and the reason why we don't have previous showing is because we are checking the condition here that show previous link if the current page number is greater than 1. Currently it is not, it is just 1, hence this will set to false. And because it's set to false and we are passing this information here in this, and this is being passed as props on top, this show previous link, it's gonna display hide, and it won't be displayed. And if you want to check and verify that, you can see over here it says hide, so it's not available. Okay, and then you have an on click method. If he clicks on that, the previous page gets called. In this case it wouldn't, because previous button is not available. Okay, then this method will be available on the click. Okay, so this is being shown because we are checking the condition that if the total pages is greater than the current page, which in this case it is, because if you check, total page is 485 and current page is 1, so of course total page is higher. Okay, that's why the next link is being shown. And when it is clicked, then this method is called, this one where we are passing next into it. It comes on top over here, it checks that okay, it's next, so it's gonna add one more page, the next page to that. So let's click on that, see if that happens. So it's added one more to it, and it's gonna call the fetch result, which is going to take the new page number, which is page number 2, and fetch result for that page number, and that's what we have displayed over here. Okay, that's pretty much it. So that's how again this is called, and this circle goes on and on and on. Alright, so I hope it was all clear, guys. If it isn't, please put it in the comment box, ask any questions you have, it took me some time to work on this, and I found this really useful when I was spending time how to actually solve this problem of creating this project for the client. So I thought of sharing it with others so that they can save time on doing those research, because one problem I did have was that the query was going on each and every request, and which was not really healthy because set state is actually asynchronous. So what was happening is each time the request is being placed, but the set state was not able to set that data into the state before the next query goes. So there was not like there was no way you could stop that. So things were getting jumbled up, and I was getting incorrect data a lot of times. So that's how cancel token is going to help you, because you're not going to make a next request until you cancel the previous one. So basically it's one request at a time. Okay, you could have used debounce, but it didn't work when I tried. So this I think is the best solution for now until you have a different one. Okay, great. So guys, if you did like the video, please give a thumbs up. Do subscribe to my channel, ask any questions you have, and do let me know if there are any other problems that you guys have for which I should make the video for. And it will be really helpful, because when I learn, I pass on the knowledge, and if you learn something, you share it with others. Okay guys, so do subscribe to my channel. You can follow me on Twitter on imranhsayed, okay, and do subscribe to my channel again. Okay guys, take care, have a lovely day, bye bye.